The final storm came suddenly. Men broke into the mansion at night, armed and merciless. Maya hid in the nursery, clutching her newborn baby girl, while chaos erupted outside. Gunshots echoed through the halls. Herschel fought fiercely, refusing to let them near his family. Wounded and bleeding, he dragged himself to Maya's side, shielding her with his body. "No one touches them," he growled, his voice hoarse but unbroken. When the police finally stormed in, the enemies were arrested. But Ahil collapsed in Maya's arms, his blood soaking her hands. She sobbed, begging him to stay alive. "You can't leave me now. Not when I finally love you." His lips curved into a weak smile. That's all I needed to hear. He closed his eyes, but this time the doctors saved him. Days later, when he awoke in the hospital, Maya sat beside him with their daughter cradled in her arms. For the first time in his life, Ahil Rehman, the ruthless CEO, felt complete. He reached for Maya's hand, kissed it softly and whispered, "I don't need an empire. I just need you." Maya leaned into him, tears of relief streaming down her face. Against all odds, the delivery girl and the poison CEO had found not just survival, but love. Their story had begun with force, with fear, but it ended with choice. And this time that choice was theirs to make together, forever. The nights grew darker as Ahil's health spiraled downward. Maya, despite her own fragile state, insisted on staying by his side. "If my blood can keep you alive, then take it," she begged, ignoring the doctor's warnings about her pregnancy. Ahil refused. "No, I won't risk your life or the baby's. I'd rather die than hurt you both." His words shook her. This was not the cold CEO she once feared. This was a man who would give up everything for her. Against the doctor's advice, Maya secretly insisted on one final transfusion. As the procedure began, she prayed desperately, whispering, "Stay with me. We need you." Hours later, he opened his eyes. Weak, fragile, but alive. His gaze fell on her swollen belly, and tears gathered in his eyes. "You saved me again, Maya. Not because you were forced, but because you chose to." It was true. Somewhere along the way, her hatred had turned into something deeper. She had fought him, resisted him. But love had crept in silently, binding her heart as tightly as their fate. Yet peace did not last. The enemies behind the poisoning surfaced, threatening not only Ahil but also Maya and the child. They wanted the CEO destroyed completely, and the easiest way was through the girl he now loved more than his own life. Maya couldn't breathe. Love? How dare he use that word after chaining her life to his? She turned her face away, refusing to meet his eyes. Yet the truth grew inside her, both literally and emotionally. The child she carried was his. Ahil changed after that day. He stopped treating her like a possession and began treating her like something fragile, precious. He stayed close, ensuring she ate, slept, and laughed. He even arranged a small garden on the rooftop because she once mentioned missing fresh air. Slowly, his gestures chipped away at her walls, but the world outside was not blind. Rumors spread through the corporate circle that the ruthless CEO had locked away a girl. Whispers of scandal threatened his empire. One evening, Maya overheard two executives plotting, "If word spreads, shareholders will revolt. We must separate them." Fear clawed at her chest. Not for herself, but for the unborn child. When she confronted Ahil, he took her hands gently. "I don't care about my empire if I lose you." Her heart trembled at his sincerity. Was it possible he truly loved her? But just as she began to believe, danger struck again. The poison that once nearly killed him returned stronger. His enemies had found a way to worsen his condition. The doctor's verdict was grim. This time, even Maya's blood might not be enough. Days turned into weeks. Maya became an unwilling part of Ahil's routine. Every few days when the poison surged, the doctor called her to his side. Each time she lent him strength. Her body weakened, but her spirit grew strangely resilient. She told herself she hated him, hated the way he had trapped her. Yet she couldn't ignore the changes she saw in him. The CEO who once terrified his employees now spoke less harshly, his gaze softening when it lingered on her. He began asking about her life, about her sick mother, about the debts that crushed her. "Why didn't you ever ask for help?" he asked one evening. "Because people like you don't see girls like me," she replied bitterly. Something flickered in his eyes, guilt perhaps. He ordered his men to pay off her father's old debts, to ensure her mother received proper treatment. Maya didn't know whether to thank him or scream at him. Every time she tried to walk away, he reminded her, "If you leave, I die." One stormy night, when his condition worsened suddenly, Maya stayed by his side for hours. His hand gripped hers tightly, as though her presence alone kept him alive, and for the first time she didn't pull away. She whispered, "Don't die," and he smiled faintly through the pain. But the closeness between them came with consequences. One morning, Maya woke up dizzy, her stomach churning. The doctor confirmed what she feared most. She was pregnant. Her world collapsed. She confronted Ahil, tears streaming down her face. "You stole my freedom, and now you've taken everything from me." He stood silent for a long time, then whispered words she never expected. "I never meant to hurt you. I think I've fallen in love with you." Maya left the glass tower that night with trembling legs, her mind replaying the doctor's words again and again. She wanted to believe it was over, that she could return to her small rented room and forget everything. But destiny does not let go so easily. The very next evening, a black car appeared outside her street. Two men in dark suits stepped out and approached her. "Miss Maya, the CEO requires your presence now." She resisted, fear crawling up her spine. But they did not hurt her, just guided her firmly back into the car. Within minutes, she was standing once again in front of Ahil Rehman. He looked healthier, but his eyes were cold, unreadable. "You saved my life," he said slowly, his deep voice echoing across the office. "That means you now carry my debt, and I do not like debts to remain unpaid." Maya frowned, not understanding. "I don't want anything. I just want to live my life." His jaw tightened. "You don't understand. The poison in my body reacts differently. The doctor says your blood is the only thing that can stabilize me. Which means, whether you like it or not, you will stay close to me." Her heart dropped. "No, I can't. I have my mother, my family." "I will take care of all that," he interrupted sharply. "But from today, you belong here." Tears pricked her eyes as she realized she had no choice. He wasn't threatening her in words, but the power he carried was enough. That night, she was given a separate room in the CEO's private residence, guarded and locked like a precious possession. She sat on the bed, hugging her knees, wondering how her life had turned upside down in just 24 hours. Yet even through her fear, she remembered the look in his eyes when he first regained consciousness, how fragile he had seemed, how human. It frightened her more than his power. And so began the chain that bound them together, though neither of them knew where it would lead. Rain poured down heavily as Maya Khan, a 22-year-old delivery girl, rushed across the streets of Karachi, clutching a bag of food. Life had never been kind to her. Her father's debts, her mother's illness and endless bills forced her into long hours of work. She thought tonight was just another delivery. But fate had different plans. The address led her to a towering glass building, Raymond Global Enterprises. With trembling hands, she pressed the elevator button and delivered the parcel to the top floor. The office was strangely quiet. She expected a receptionist, maybe a guard, but instead she found herself face to face with Ahil Rehman, the feared yet admired young CEO, known for his ruthless business deals and cold heart. His face was pale, beads of sweat running down his forehead. He clutched his chest, struggling to breathe. Maya panicked. "Sir, are you okay?" Before she could dial emergency services, his personal doctor barged in, shouting urgently, "He's been poisoned! We need the antidote!" But there was no antidote, only a rare, temporary cure that required something unthinkable. The doctor's eyes fell on Maya. Her blood type, it matches. She's the only one who can stabilize him. Maya's heart froze. "Me? No, I can't. You must," the doctor insisted. "If you don't, he will die in minutes." Shaking, terrified, Maya agreed. The emergency procedure began. She felt the needle pierce her skin as her blood mixed into his veins. Her mind screamed to run, yet her body stayed frozen. Within moments, Ahil's breathing eased. His pulse returned. His piercing eyes opened, locking on hers. The man everyone feared had just been saved by a delivery girl. But Maya didn't feel relief, she felt trapped. For saving him came with a price she never imagined. As she staggered back, the doctor whispered to Ahil, loud enough for her to hear, "She's the only one who can keep you alive. You'll need her again."